Hi Jojo, I am doing a video here today on a reaction of your reaction of another video that you have done. I'm really doing this video for several different reasons. One of the reasons being I really respect your opinion and I want to give you some pushback on it. I don't think your opinion is wrong. I just want to provide you more time to process the information that is available to us on this. And maybe by adding another perspective, maybe it'll change your opinion a little bit on it. And maybe you'll be able to find some things that, we don't know about yet. I also do want to keep adding to the dialogue. I think this is an important topic. I don't think it's a unique topic, as I expect a lot of people are going through this issue that this young woman is experiencing right now. And why this video seems to be doing so well is that other people can resonate with it. And so, yeah, I'm hoping that this video can spark some dialogue, and I hope that we get to discuss this a bit more. So without further ado, I am jumping into your video 35 seconds in, because that's where it actually starts, and I just fibbed. We're actually going to be jumping into your video at 1:30, because that's where you actually talk, and I don't really want to react to what she's saying, because I think you've already done a good job of that. So I'm going to be reacting to your commentary on this, and I want to kind of try and further that dialogue of your opinions on this because I think that's where it's really interesting to me. I think you have a really good take on this, and I want to further process that and continue that dialogue if able to.
So if you don't know, this young woman is basically talking about how she's graduated college and she's unable to find a job in her desired career choice. And what I want to do in this video is because I'm in college right now and I'm obviously a YouTuber. I just want to give my perspective on it. And if you have any perspective, maybe you can help her out too, or maybe we can just have a dialogue about this because this is something I see happening too much.
I would say
So I actually want to pause and go over this because right from the get-go, I think you actually missed what her actual struggle is. Uh, if you go through her video, I've watched it several times now while watching yours. It doesn't sound like she's struggling to find a job, as she's much more struggling to find that job immediately. She had a job that was making ends meet while she was going to another destination in what sounds like a couple months' time. It sounds like she really is hitting this point in her life where this is her first failure in life, and she has not planned for failure, which she's young. You point out in your video, I believe we'll hear you say this later, that she's like 22, 23 because she's just graduating college, right? And honestly, when I was that age, I wasn't planning for failure as nearly as much as I should have. Uh, I'd recommend one thing that I learned was from Gordon Ramsay's class that I took later in my life, but it was have at least 6 months of cash at all times that you can live off of. You want to have that reserve. If something goes wrong, you're able to get by. And that's really what her issue is right here, is that she's got a couple of months that she needs to make bills. She needs to stretch her money for a couple of months, making all those ends meet until she's able to get to her next destination where she's able to start a new career. To me, that's really what her core issue is at the moment. Not her core issue. That's what her immediate need is. And that's what I am seeing from this. So maybe that changes some perspective a little bit here. And now we're going to go ahead and jump to 403. I do want to point out, though, that I thought that your other analysis of some of the issue, I don't disagree with what you said. Like, I think that's right. I think that I was only able to come to that conclusion because I've been analyzing so much of your actual words and what she's currently going through. So we're now jumping forward to 404. Good number. Uh, really, this is going to be talking about her really coming into adulthood, and I really agree with a lot of things you say here.
And this is not to be disrespectful, but that's just adulthood. You have to just make money so you can live. Um, and this is no shade to her, but you would think you would learn that while you're in college because you're in college from ages 18 to at most 23, 24 at most. Usually people graduate around 22 and a half, 23. So within those 5 years, not only are you supposed to learn about your major, you're supposed to learn about how the real world works. How, yes, you have to make money. You have to know how to pay bills. You have to obviously know what work-life balance is. This is not something that you should be exposed to right after graduation.
This
So I really like a lot of your analysis here of this is basic adulthood, right? Like we're paying bills, we're making ends meet, we're having to work to live, right? Uh, I really agree with a lot of that. And I really wish that you would go further into the misconception of college because college really is not designed to make you someone who is ready to face the world. That's not what college does. College does none of that. So that is something that we frequently misconceive. We think that college does something that it does not do, and it's not in its mission statement to make you someone who is ready for the world. It is making you ready for a very specific thing. In her case, as I believe she said it at least by this point, she's a theater major, right? And she's trained in these theater arts. And I know that you throw shade later in this, and we'll go over that there, but this is a real career. Like, this has a lot of useful skills in non theater areas. Statistically, if you have any degree, you're going to make more money throughout your lifetime than someone who doesn't have a degree. And it's because you build these high technical skills that she clearly has. We can see some of these skills displayed throughout her video that we're not going to see in my video because I'm only reacting to you, but she shows these skills that she has clearly. She's able to communicate, she's able to articulate, she's expressed that she's been able to run others. I believe she says it's a theater group or something like that, so she's able to manage other people. These are all skills that jobs want you to have, and she's able to do them very well. And it's apparent by the fact that she got the degree. The degree tells us that she is able to do this. And I think that's something that it represents. That's part of the power of that paper. So I'll go into it more when you talk more about her degree, but let's not throw shade at it. That she has skills that come with that degree, and I think it is very relevant for a lot of the things that are on the market nowadays. Uh, but yeah, she's. We'll talk about it later. You talk more about something else later that that I wanted to talk about here. So, just going to go ahead, jump to 653.
so I still had a
And this is something I see a lot. Her major was
Yeah, this
theater.
is where we talk about the major.
Obviously, not a very high paying major, not a very high paying field.
So not all majors are going to be high paying, whereas you have really specced out your life and all power to you. That is awesome. You have done your homework on what you want to do for your life. Not everyone does that. She clearly hasn't as much as you have, or maybe she just had a different skill set that she was able to capitalize on, right? So that's not every person fits in the square hole. So that's kind of how this has gone. And it's not like if everyone was a computer scientist, the world would be falling apart because we have other jobs that need to be done that are just as valuable and not as high paying. So please let's not poo poo on other degrees nearly as much in the future.
Field to be in general. I personally didn't even know theater was a major, but not trying to, I just didn't know it was a major. But anyways, college sells students a dream. And
really likes
unfortunately,
that.
it sounds like she was sold a piece of this dream. She had a plan when she turned 18 to go into college, major in theater, and to graduate at 22, 23 with her job in theater. But you have to realize, for your plan to work, you have to meticulously plan it out. You have to meticulously work in it. You have to meticulously think about it day in and day out, or you're going to be taken advantage of, such as you were when you're working 10, I mean, not 8, but 10-hour days, 6 days a week. You're working 60-hour weeks, week in and week out, and you still get fired. And the reason is not because you didn't work hard or not because you're not smart. It's because you went into college with your theater major. You didn't plan it the way that you're supposed to plan it. I will say that. And you're getting taken advantage of now. And this is a lesson to a lot of people who are in college. If you're not choosing a naturally high paying major, such as engineering or computer science, or you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, though the golden majors, then you have to be very serious about what you do in life because life will take advantage of you, such as it's doing now to her.
a little bit of time.
So I really like so much that you point out there. You really do have to plan out your life, and college really does sell you the dream that you go to college and life is good. Life is golden. You're set. In reality, college is just the first step for a lot of people. Uh, my recommendation for college would actually be, unless you have a hard set goal right out of high school for why college is beneficial to you, don't go to college. Wait until you have a purpose for it. Uh, because yes, it's going to be beneficial to you some point in your life, but it can be really soul crushing if you don't have a purpose or a drive for that at that time. Speaking from my own life experience, I dropped out of college the first time. I came back later in my life and completed it, but it was one of those things where it wasn't right for me at that time. I didn't have a goal. I was aimless. I was finding myself in college, and in reality, I was just throwing money away. I was throwing time away. I was throwing effort away. So I dropped out, did other jobs for several years, figured out what I wanted to do with my life, and at that point, I returned to college because I needed to go further in life. I had a plan, I had a goal, and we made it happen. And it really sounds like you've accurately assessed that her whole plan kind of ended at getting the degree. And that seems to me where her issues really are starting here, is that that was the end point of her plan, where that should have been one of the starting points of her plan. So that really sucks for her. And more on the dream of college, of what college provides for you. It does not turn you into an adult. It turns you into the starting building blocks for a job, and you have to work to find that job and get that job. And that's really, really rough on a lot of people that have never had a job and don't know how to interact with finding a job. Even people who do know all of that still struggle to get these jobs. So, this really is her first time entering adulthood, and it is hitting her in full force. And she really has been taken advantage of, right? And I think that we are able to see that because she looks like she's a highly capable woman and she's in the ditch here. So yeah, I just want to throw that out there. Hopefully that maybe adds a little more perspective. I think you mostly got your opinions right on that. I really can't disagree with a whole lot. Just maybe add some more context.
Time and again,
And we're going to jump to 10:18. This is where we start talking again. Yep.
It's unbelievable to me. It's unbelievable to me that you're fresh out of college. You're fresh out. You probably have loans. I know you have loans because you went to school
So I want to stop right here on the talk of loans. Oh,
for
wait, a little
theater.
further.
And it's not going to. This is not supposed to be derogatory, but you went to school for theater. They're not giving you a full ride to theater.
There we go. So she could have a full ride. She's not complaining about loans in this video, so let's not make the assumption that she has crippling college debt. That is very real for a lot of people, but she has not expressed that in her video. And I think with everything else that is hitting her in her life right now, if that was an issue, she would be letting us know about that issue right there. Because that is very real and that is very crippling for a lot of people. I don't think that's her issue. Uh, and yeah, I talked about it a little bit earlier, but let's not poo-poo her degree decision here because it does have value. It does have real life applications. Uh, there is a lot of money out there for students. If you know where to look, you can get loans, you can get what is it called? There, I know there's like FAFSA, there's a bunch of other support out there that if you just know how to look for it, you can get a lot of free money. You can get a lot of discounts, you can get a lot of help from the college that will actually just pay for you to go there. So my guess is that she had either a full ride off of different programs, or she had a lot of money paid into it through those support systems, and maybe she had some family support. She had some outside money that was helping her get through this. That's not that uncommon, and yeah, that's pretty good. All these degrees are getting financial support. Like it's that's missing the point.
So a year out of college, you're already on unemployment. But when I get online and I tell people not to pick certain majors, or even if you do pick a major, because at the end of the day, the major is interchangeable. If you do pick a
Okay.
major, you just have to be very serious about your life, because at the end of the day, when you go to college, and I'm saying when you're a freshman entering college, you are an adult. You're not a kid.
I want to step back a little bit and where you say be really serious about your life. I think these people are really serious about their lives. I think a better way of expressing your actual opinion here would be saying be really serious about your plan for your life because I think that's just more accurate of what you're actually trying to portray because I think these people are serious with what they are planning on doing and I don't think that you mean to be that derogatory to them. Uh, Let me know if I'm wrong there. Maybe you do feel that. I just from the videos I've seen of you, I don't think that's the case, but it seems a little too aggressive, maybe. I don't know.
Kid anymore. And something I noticed that colleges do is they keep people in this stage of adolescence in a way. They plan out your courses, or even if you plan out your courses, you're in an environment with other young people. It has a party culture or a have fun culture. You're still young culture. But at the end of the day, you are an adult. So when you graduate, this is your first time being exposed to what it's really like being an adult, what it really means to be an adult, because what you're listing, your problems are problems that every adult has, such as having to pay bills. That's a level 0 adult problem. That's the baseline of adulting. You didn't even enter in having kids. You didn't even enter in the higher ups. That's the baseline adult problem. Finding a job, baseline adult problem. These are adult problems that every adult faces. Finding a job, knowing how to pay bills, knowing where your next meal is coming from, housing, knowing where you're going to live. The big issue is that you chose theater as a major and you didn't really plan it out. You just had a dream. You had a dream that when you graduated, a job on a golden platter was going to be given to you. But that's just not how it works. And I don't want to beat you down when you're already down. But let this be a lesson to other students who are watching this video. You have to be very serious because you are not a child anymore. Life does not have to give you anything.
So I agree with a lot of things that you said there, and a lot of that is really, really accurate. Of again, college keeps you as a child as long as it can. That kind of feeling of that shift of I'm no longer a kid, I'm an adult. And that's something that we really struggle with as a people. And I'll speak for myself here. I don't want to kind of impose this on other people. It's really odd saying that I'm an adult. People call me Mr. and I'm like, whoa, I'm an adult now, and that's weird to me. And I'm only 30, so she's in her young 20s, 22, 23, as we've kind of speculated earlier. And I yeah, this is kind of becoming an adult. But I think one of the things that I would like to add as a new perspective into this is it's not that she is feeling like she's finally becoming an adult and having these adult issues, basic adult issues. I I really do agree with that. That is a really good point. But it's much more that this is her first time experiencing an unsafe failure where she lost a job that was her source of income and she's struggling to make ends meet. That is the real issue here is that she has her very first unsafe failure. And this is something as a 22 or 23-year-old, I wouldn't have been prepared for this. Being let go from a job and yeah, that a lot of people are going to suffer from that. Like one of the best pieces of advice I got financially was from what was his name? He's really big. Dave Ramsey, that's who it is. Of having that 6 months kind of nest egg. If anything goes wrong, you got the money for it. You're going to be okay for 6 months to figure out your life because it takes time to get a new job, right? And that's just kind of how it is. And it really sounds like a lot of her big issues is she's planning on moving in a couple months. That's her plan. She's not staying here, but she needs to live here for a couple more months and then have the finances to make that move. That's really rough because it's like, hey, hire me. I'm a good employee. You're going to have to train me a bit. And then as soon as I'm ready to turn a profit for you, I'm out. That's really rough on employers. Like that's going to be hard to find a position for that, even if she is just doing these basic new adulting jobs, as we if we wanted to demean them. But honestly, they're good jobs. They're hardworking jobs. I think we need to put more respect on people who are doing these 9 to 5s. All of our Walmart employees out there, I respect you and I thank you for doing your job. You have a place in our community, and I really wish that you got better treatment from Walmart, but that's how they keep their prices down, unfortunately for us. So, yeah, maybe give her a little bit more credit for that. She hasn't thought this through because she's never experienced something like that, and more than likely, she didn't have support to kind of plan something out like this. Uh, yeah, that's really my commentary on that. Uh, a lot of times we don't know what questions to ask until we have to ask them. And this is her finding out the hard way, and hopefully she makes it through. Like this is rough, you know?
What?
So we are going to jump to 1358. That's our next conversation point. Did I get that right?
I see now what everyone is talking about with like it's hard to get a job. Um, and even
You chose a theater major.
Yeah, I did get that right.
I get the job market, but you chose a theater major.
She's also not looking for a theater major position at this point. She's looking for the immediate I need to make ends meet position because she's going to be moving. Uh, theater major is probably still really hard to find position for though.
And
I'll
it's
just
hard for me to hear young people talk about the job market because it would be different if you were in your 30s or late 20s or 40s or 50s or 60s and then you still couldn't find a job because at this point you would have had at least a decade of experience under your belt. You would have decades of experience. You know your craft.
I will say on this point, I think you're really right on this. A lot of us really struggle to sympathize with younger generations who are coming into the job market and being like, there's no good jobs. It's really hard looking for a job. You're going to get told no so much, and that is so soul crushing. I really do empathize with that, and it's one of those things that we all struggle through while trying to find a place to work, so that way we can survive. And that's just kind of how it is.
Like the back of your hand, and you still can't find a job, then I would say, you know what?
I would say a lot of people give up looking before they should, and it's because it's hard being told no. And I'm not giving them an excuse for it. Just kind of explaining my opinion and perspective of it. And a lot of times we settle for the job that we get and we quit looking for that theater degree position after we get that soul crushing job because we were told no so many times. And I see a lot of people do that, and it kills me on the inside whenever they do because they need to keep looking. And I know you were talking about this earlier, and I really agree with you. It's all about that plan that you set up. You're spot on. It's about being serious about your plan in life of, hey, I am here right now. How do I get to this end goal? What is my transparent plan that I want everyone to know about? Hey, this is my dream. This is my goal. Hey, help me get there. And I think this is really important for people, and I really want people to not be satisfied with that entry level job and keep building themselves up. You should always be building yourself up. Companies are more than happy to help build you up because at the end of the day, if they're building you up to fill need in their company, they are going to love it because they know that they're going to have an employee for a long time. And that's really beneficial for them. That's really beneficial for you. Everyone profits from that.
That's crazy. But when you're fresh out of college, you have little to no experience. So
Very true.
naturally, there will be less jobs that you can actually do. That's number one. For
That's
two,
very true
when
as
you're
well.
in college, you're actually exposed to career fairs. You're exposed to professors who know specific jobs in your field. You're exposed
You are exposed to all of these things. All of these resources are available. Maybe I'm dating myself a little bit when I say when the internet first started to really pop off, everyone thought everyone was going to just be super smart instantly because all the information is on the internet. But just because it's there does not mean that we look at it or that we know it. And these are really important things to key in on. Just because all those job fairs were there, all those professors are still there, you can reach out to them at any time, does not mean that we are aware to ask that question or we are aware to reach out for that hand. And sometimes it's pride that keeps us from asking it. That's really unfortunate. I don't disagree with what you're saying. All these resources are there. A lot of times we just don't know to look for these resources
to roommates and classmates who
so
also
please
have
keep shouting out
connections in your
these
field.
resources.
So you just have more opportunity to find a job when you're actually in college. So for you to be 23, 24, however old you are, and you're struggling like this, it's hard for me to have that level of sympathy for you because, well, I wouldn't even say sympathy because I am sympathetic. I am. But it's hard for me to
I agree with
be
that.
purely sympathetic because I know being in college, you are exposed to job fairs, you are exposed to internships, you are exposed to careers. And
I
if
don't
you
think we need to be
haven't been
sympathetic here. I think
with
we need to
being 4 years out, then
figure out a way to get them on the
I'm
path
my
of
thing is
looking
how?
for the
How
direction.
weren't you? Maybe it was your major because
Oh,
theater
this is so
is
true.
obviously not a higher paying major. But come on, you should have some connections. You're fresh out of college. Some professors you can talk to, something.
Even after me
Really,
graduating,
really, really, really like that point. I know I touched on it a little bit. Professors are really good resources, especially if they've worked in the field that they teach about. They have connections. One of the big points of college is to make connections with people. And this is something that we miss so much of, is the personal impact of getting to know people. So now we are going to jump to 1636.
college. You know what I'm saying?
That's an excuse. That's an excuse because when you're in college, you can get that experience. As soon as you turn 18 and you go to
I'm actually
college, and
gonna
I'm speaking in
Been in software, this software, and there's no guide on it. There's no training classes on this software. But it's like, yeah, you gotta have experience with this software, and then
just
we
talking
need you to
about
have
the
experience
loop of you need to have
doing this,
experience
this,
to
and
get the
that.
job, but you have
Well,
to
how could I
have
have
the
that experience
knowledge.
when I've been in college? You know what I'm saying?
That's an excuse. That's an excuse because when you're in college, you can get that experience. As soon as you turn 18 and you go to college, and I'm speaking from a college student's perspective, I'm here literally right now. I'm in a dorm room. Even though I graduate on Saturday, shout out to me. I graduated my degree in engineering. But anyways, when you're in college, you are exposed to these companies multiple times and you're supposed to work
Completely agree.
internships when you're in college with these companies. Let's say you don't work any internships in college.
So I'm going to pause right here. I personally hate internships because I believe, as a good capitalist should, that you should get paid for your for your labor. But internships have a lot of value of building that personal connection. Uh, but a lot of internships are set up program by program. Not every program offers internships or even promotes through internships. I not in theater, I don't know that setup, but chances are there was some missed opportunities of networking that this young woman missed. And I do agree with Jojo here that you do need to be constantly working on the next step when you're in college of, hey, getting that degree, that's step one. I definitely I agree with you a lot on this, Jojo.
You should at least know what companies look for by the time you're 22 walking across that stage. You should know what they look for. You should know what
I
they
really
want
agree.
from you. You should not be first exposed when you're 23. It defeats the purpose of even going to college. The problem is that a lot of college students are just so entitled. They think that their degree, just the degree, will get them a job. That's not the world we live in anymore. Because
So there is definitely that entitlement. There is a lot of entitlement along the lines of, hey, I got this degree, I deserve that high paying job right away. And it's because that's what they've been told. It's kind of what we've been pushing as a narrative for several generations now. And it's very destructive because it's not quite accurate. It's kind of like the idea of the American dream. Well, working really, really hard is part of the American dream. You don't just get the white picket fence overnight for living in America, right? You have to do a lot of work. You have to be financially savvy. You have to be frugal. You have to know, as JoJo is going into, you have to plan things out to end up with that white picket fence house. So yeah, it's the entitlement is real, but that's also because they've been promised this throughout their entire life, and I get it. It sucks though, and unfortunately, it's a lie. They've been lied to, and they're now facing the harsh realities of figuring things out.
more students are getting degrees. And it sucks because you got taken advantage of. And I
Did get
can
taken advantage
tell
of.
by watching this video. College took advantage of you. They gave you these loans. They basically trapped you in a 360 deal. They trapped you. And you didn't know
Yeah,
that you're supposed to start working
college
when
made
you're
their money.
18, 19, when you're in college. That's when you're exposed to the companies. You're supposed to work internships for them. Or at least get to know their recruiters. Get to know your professors in your major so when
Networking.
a job opportunity comes up, you're the first name they recommend. That's what college is for. It's not just for you to get a degree and then graduate and be on a pedestal in society. That is not how adulting works at all. And now you're in the real world and you're lost.
So
I really agree with your end statements there. She is lost because she is, for a kind of a crude way of putting it, she's lost because she's adulting for the first time and she's 23 when we look at people as adults at around 18. And it's because she went to college. It sucks. It's kind of her situation from this short snippet that we have of it. I don't disagree with you, Jojo. Also, networking is really important.
I feel like with my post-grad depression, it's not coming from me being out of college. It's coming from
And skip
feeling
to.
like I
Oh,
didn't do enough. Like, even though I did 4 years of college, even though I have a degree, a bachelor's degree at that, even with all of that, the world is still saying you're not doing enough.
You're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. The world is one thing about the world that we live in. The world will not punish you randomly. Well, I take that back. The world is not punishing you randomly. You chose the degree. You decided that you wanted to major in theater. You
so I really like and agree with that statement there. So I'm going to let this run out and then I'm going to stop it again.
decided that you wanted to wait until after you graduated to get a job. You decided this. And I'm not saying you didn't work hard in your degree or you didn't work hard in college, but in terms of finding a job, you did not do enough. And I understand sometimes the job market does suck. But for you specifically, that's not the case. You are fresh out. You should have known theater didn't have that many job opportunities. And I'm not saying, well, you should just know everything, but we all have phones and computers. You could look that up. That's not something that is new. And it's crazy that I'm saying this, but that's not something that is new. You could have done more. And once you realize that, you'll be able to fix your situation. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about fixing your situation at the end of this video because I don't want to just bash her as if, oh, blah, blah. You know, I want to actually try to help based off of what I know. But that's for later.
Alright, so one of the things that I really want to get into is that, yeah, she is not doing enough yet. She's just starting out. And it sounds like she's starting out in the middle of a failure. And that really sucks. Uh, I really like your point of she's not a victim to the world. One of the most empowering things that I keep reminding myself of is that all of my problems are of my own creation. And what that saying does for me is it gives me agency of all of my own actions, and it gives me power over what is going wrong in my life. It gives me the ability to say, "Hey, this thing that's really crappy right now, yeah, I probably had a big role in that. I am the reason that is there, and I have the ability to change that. I can fix that. I can make that better. It might not be perfect afterwards, but it is my monkey that I get to fix." And I think that's really important. So I really appreciate what you are saying there. And our next part is at 21:17. I've got to move myself to skip to that.
All these emotions and I had all these thoughts and I was like, okay, I need to record a video just to get it all out there because why not?
Okay. We
Actually, I
could go too
appreciate that.
deep, but I'm not going to go too deep in her video. If you want a part two, let me know. But I will say this for you, and I hope you see this. Life
I
was
want a
not
part
made
two.
for
I'd
you to
love to
fail.
talk you
Life
through
is
it.
not set up for you to fail. Just because you think that you're a victim in society, that's not necessarily the truth. That's not the case.
I
Just
agree.
because you're a black woman or just because you've never
Honestly, the society
won
doesn't
life,
even care enough
no.
about
You can win in
anything.
life. I promise you can win. But however, right now, you haven't done enough. And that's just what it is. But here's the thing. If you want to make money, find out what you're good at. Because obviously the path you're on right now is not leading to financial success. And this is not me saying a theater degree won't lead to success, but a degree itself won't lead to success. When you were in college, you were supposed to network. You were supposed to find companies in your field that looked out for you. You were supposed to do all this stuff, but you did it. Okay, that's in the past. But what you can do today, find out what you're good at. You're talking about college online right now, right? Make more videos about this. Make more videos about your experience. Become a really good content creator, and maybe that'll give you some extra money. Maybe that'll give you some extra exposure for companies to see you. Find out what you're good at. Do that more than you possibly can. Double down on your skills, and that's what's going to get you paid. This video has what that you recorded? I think 70, 80,000 views. I'm sure you made some money from this. Keep going. Keep posting videos. Keep doing whatever you can to get out of this hump that you're in, because that's the only way you're going to succeed. Your degree alone will not get you that. And I'm telling you this right now. It will not get you the life that you want. You have to double down on something else. Applying to jobs, let me tell you this, it's not going to work because there's tens, 20,000 people applying to one job. How many other theater majors do you think are applying to the same job you're applying for? If they're slightly more qualified than you, you're done. You need to find another way. You're on social media right now, maybe that can be your way. I would not suggest investing because you don't have any money. In order to make money investing, you have to already have it. So find a skill that you're really good at, content creation I suggest to you, and double down. Become as good as possible at it. That's all I have to say about this.
So yeah, I really agree with a lot of what you just said. I definitely agree with your point of she's clearly making good content here. She, as you pointed out, she's getting 70, 80,000 views. That's pretty big, especially if she's just starting out. That's a really big success. She's clearly got the ability to make content that works really well with her theater degree. My advice would kind of very, very similar to what you're saying is start start making content. See if you can get any finances out of that. Uh, Alternatively, see if you can work with any other bigger creators. There's a lot of support that creators need, specifically in producing content. And you can see from her video, she did editing to it. She did good work with that, and she could definitely be a valuable employee for someone else. And I think there's plenty of money in that. Uh, yeah, so that's all the commentary I have. No, actually, that's not true. I forgot one thing I disagree with. Definitely apply to positions. Just definitely shoot your shot with all of these companies. Don't stop. You're going to be told no a lot. That's going to happen. Get used to rejection. Don't let it hurt you. Don't let it hit you personally. That's my biggest advice when applying to jobs. And it's so hard to do. It's so hard not to take it personally because they are telling you no, and no one likes being told no. But you got to do it. Shoot the shot. Even the positions that you aren't qualified for, still submit an application for that. You'd be surprised at which ones will call you back and say, hey, would you be willing to have an interview? Take all your shots. Wayne Gretzky says that you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So take the shot. He didn't say that exactly like that. I paraphrase a bit, but it's off the top of my head. Uh, but yeah, that's what I have as my commentary on your commentary of her current life situation. Uh, I don't really make content. This was just something that I wanted to put together and maybe start a conversation with you because I respect you and your opinion. Um, I'm going to post this on YouTube, and I'm not 100% certain on how all of this works. So if you want me to take this down for any reason, you will have my email because I will be emailing you a link to this video with kind of an introduction. So just email me back and I'll take it down. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day. And I hope that, I don't know, maybe this changed your opinion on something or gave you a new perspective. It is like 45 minutes and I apologize about that, but hope you have a wonderful day.